The dusty road that cut through the golden wheat fields shimmered under the late afternoon sun. The Wilson farm sat on the edge of the sleepy town, where most people still judged others by the size of their land, the rust of their trucks, and the way they carried their name. For Emily Wilson and her twin sister, Sarah, the farm had always been their refuge. They were identical in face but not in spirit. Emily was quiet, soft-spoken, and book-smart, preferring the company of the old oak tree and her sketch pad. Sarah, however, carried herself differently. She had been gone for years, serving in places most Americans couldn't even point out on a map. She wasn't just a soldier, she was Delta Force. Her training, her scars, and her silence all carried a weight that Emily never asked about but always respected. When Sarah returned to the farm on leave, she blended back into the rhythm of chores like she had never left. But her body moved differently. Precise, efficient, purposeful. Emily noticed how Sarah scanned the horizon every few minutes, how her ears perked at even the faintest sound of gravel shifting. Sarah wasn't just her sister anymore. She was something more, something forged from shadows and battles Emily could never imagine. Yet to the world, they looked like the same girl, two faces, one farm. That was what started the trouble. In town, the high school parking lot had always been a cruel arena. Emily, despite her gentle nature, had often been the target of whispers, laughs, and outright cruelty. She didn't fight back. She didn't yell. She didn't tell Sarah, because she didn't want to burden her. But the bullies noticed her silence, and silence, to them, was weakness. Among them, Jake Turner stood tall, the self-proclaimed king of the school. He was built like a linebacker, his laugh loud and cruel. His gang of friends always close behind him like hyenas circling their prey. To him, Emily Wilson was nothing more than a farm girl, a nobody who didn't belong in their world of parties, money, and arrogance. He had pulled her braid in the hallways, knocked her books from her arms, and once shoved her against her locker while everyone laughed. Emily swallowed her pain each time, hoping it would pass. But Jake and his friends didn't know that sometimes a twin wasn't just a twin. Sometimes a twin was a storm waiting to be unleashed. The day everything shifted, Sarah had agreed to pick Emily up from school after finishing morning chores. She wore Emily's flannel shirt and jeans, her hair tied in the same simple braid. The plan was innocent. Sarah wanted to surprise her sister, to walk through those halls once again and see the place she had left behind. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. Because when Jake and his crew spotted her at the lockers, they thought she was Emily. Farm trash. Jake sneered, slamming his hand against the locker door just inches from Sarah's head. His friends snickered. Did you milk your cows before school today, or are you saving that for tonight? The hall filled with laughter, and Sarah's eyes flicked over the group. Calm, cold, calculated. They thought she was Emily, the quiet one who never fought back. But Sarah's silence wasn't weakness. It was the silence of a predator before the strike. Jake grabbed at her braid, tugging it hard enough to jerk her head back. You think you can walk around here like you matter? You're nothing. You and your little farm. He didn't finish his sentence, because in one swift, fluid motion, Sarah spun, her hand snapping up to clamp around his wrist. The crack of her movement silenced the hallway. Jake froze, eyes wide at the iron grip that locked him in place. The laughter died instantly. His friends shifted uneasily, confused. This wasn't the reaction they expected. The farm girl wasn't cowering. She wasn't whimpering. She was staring straight through Jake's bravado with a calmness that chilled him to his core. Let go, Sarah said softly, her voice low but razor sharp. Jake tried to yank his hand free, but the harder he pulled, the tighter her grip became. Pain shot up his arm and his face twisted. What the? Let me go. Sarah stepped closer, her voice a whisper only he could hear. Touch me again, and I'll break you. For the first time in his life, Jake Turner didn't laugh. His friends shuffled, unsure, the silence of the hallway pressing down on them like a storm. Sarah released him suddenly, and Jake stumbled back, clutching his wrist, his ego bruised far worse than his arm. He tried to mask his fear with anger. You're dead, farm girl. You hear me? Nobody embarrasses me like that. Sarah didn't respond. She just turned, shut Emily's locker with a calm flick of her hand, and walked away. The crowd parted silently, watching her every step, whispers buzzing like electricity. Something was different. Something had changed. Emily Wilson wasn't the same girl they used to torment. At least, that's what they thought. When Emily found out later that evening what had happened, her face paled. Sarah, you don't understand. Jake won't let this go. He's going to make it worse. Sarah's eyes hardened, a shadow of the soldier she had become flashing through. Then let him try. Emily swallowed hard. Deep down, she knew something the bullies would soon learn the hard way. You never pick on the wrong twin, especially when that twin was trained to be a weapon.